The Tank Destroyer Force crewmen, they became the multi-purpose armored guys.
Yes.
You know, in reality, they were serving, they were fighting in streets and in cities.
Yep.
And they were not supposed to do that, but again, no plan survives first contact.
This might look to the uneducated a little bit like a Sherman tank, but boy, it certainly is not. This is an M10. This is a tank destroyer. But it has an incredible history, doesn't it, Jared? And you're the guy who was responsible for working out exactly what this machine was, where it came from, and actually its whole heritage line. Because when it was bought, it was thought to be a British version, a Wolverine, but it isn't at all.
That's correct. When it came to us, it had a 17-pounder mounted onto the turret.
Which is British and only British.
And at the time, it was assumed that it was the British 17-pounder gun variant that they used as their own self-propelled.
Oh yeah, this is the Achilles, not a Wolverine.
Yes, Achilles, yes.
Right.
When we started diving into it and started looking at things like the serial number on the front, or the mounting points of where the Pioneer tools are, what we wound up finding was a predominantly American style of setup that aligned with most M10s, along with a few oddball modifications that didn't line up with anything we'd actually seen before. And looking into it, basically in the late 40s, when Israel was becoming a nation and trying to build their army, they were under arms embargoes by most of the world. So what they wound up doing was reaching out to France and trying to get as many of the vehicles that had gotten left over to the French after the war as they could. So part of that deal was a large amount of M10 tank destroyers.
Well, I'm now with Eric Albertson, also of the of World War II Armor, and Eric is the official historian to World War II Armor. And Eric, you can tell here we are in the turret of the M10, and this absolutely tells you that this is not a Sherman tank.
No, absolutely.
I mean, it's a big, it's open air. It's completely different to a tank.
Absolutely, yeah, without a doubt.
The whole concept of tank destroyers was, you know, it emerges out of the Blitzkrieg years, the defeat of France and Poland, the Low Countries, and this idea, this concept that you have an armored division which is exploitative. So once the breakthroughs happened, then your armored division goes forward. And it's important to understand that an armored division is not just stuff full of tanks. It's armored infantry. It's armored, it's
artillery.
towed artillery and reconnaissance forces as well, and scout cars. And
it was the first truly combined arms.
Right.
It wasn't an infantry division with attached units. Everything was organic.
Everything's there, and so once the breakthroughs happen, you can burst through and exploit. What you also have is you have independent tank battalions, which are there to support the infantry as they're doing that grinding job of creating the breakthrough. The point of the tank destroyers is that if the enemy are attacking you, you've got highly mobile, highly versatile anti-tank guns that can take pot shots and then move back or move forward depending on what the situation is. But the reality is that these end up becoming, more often than not, extra firepower supporting infantry breakthroughs.
Yeah, no, I mean, picture yourself, you're an infantry captain or lieutenant or a staff sergeant. Yeah. You see this vehicle with the cannon, tracks. They don't care what you call it. It's a tank.
It's a tank, and it's got a big gun, and it can help you.
Yeah, so I mean, the Tank Destroyer Force crewmen, they became the multi-purpose armored guys.
Yes.
You know, in reality, they were serving, they were fighting in streets and in cities.
Yep.
And they were not supposed to do that, but again, no plan survives first contact.
Yes.
So I mean,
so they have this evolving role, and of course, you can see here, this is the thickness of it. It's not very thick armor around it. This is what obviously that weighs an absolute ton, but this is lightly armored. The idea about this is that you're saving weight, you can have a bigger gun, and these are really maneuverable. You know, one of the many good things about the Sherman tank, the Sherman chassis, is its versatility, its ability to move quickly, forward, back. That's what, that's the kind of the USP of these, the big gun with maneuverability, but something has to go. It's always a payoff, and the payoff is that you sacrifice heavy armor.
Yeah, so I mean, that's a lot of it has to do with no turret roof, but also there's a secondary reason is because, again, most of these guys were artillerymen.
All right.
So they provide that wider field of view of the battle space. So a combination of losing the weight with less armor to be more maneuverability. That was the intention. You know, the M10 was a stopgap because it's built on a Sherman chassis.
Of course, yeah.
It's not meeting that speed, maneuverability, what they wanted, a fast, aggressive, get up there, destroy the tanks, find an alternate position, and move on. It's a Sherman, all at the end of the day.
Yep. So with a different top.
Yeah, and so this
sloping armor.
This vehicle, they designed it, and it fought throughout the entire war. So that shows you how good of a vehicle it was. Now, for the crew, not so much. Aside from not having the roof, the gunner, right here, stands. He doesn't have anywhere to sit to look through the telescopic sight to engage targets. You look at how small of a space that is between the recoil system and the turret ring right there. He's got to cram his body in there, and the elevation wheel, the traversing and elevation wheel are within 10 inches of each other.
You can see this hasn't been designed for this. This has been adapted to this. And it's a different beast as a result.
Get that 3-inch gun, build a fighting compartment, and then good luck being the gunner. You better be really skinny. Like
so where's the loader?
So loader would be standing right in here.
Yep, because most people are right-handed, so you swing it in that way.
So you have your gun commander right here, your loader's right here, and he's pulling from his ready rack.
So it's a 5-man crew, just like a Sherman as well.
Exactly, yep. The assistant driver is not a bow gunner because there's no bow machine gun.
Right.
He's the assistant driver and also the radio man.
Right.
And so what happened a lot of times is the tank destroyer crews would remove the crewmen because it was a wasted casualty.
Right, so they just had a 4-man crew.
Yeah.
So there is a purpose-built gun carriage, part of the tank destroyer force, and that's the M18 Hellcat.
Exactly.
So should we go and have a look at that? Because you got one of those as well.
Absolutely, that's one of my favorites.
Yeah, mine too.
And you've been on it before.
I have, and it was an absolute joy. So we're now in the turret of the Hellcat. I'm not going to lie, it's still pretty cramped.
It is. So, you know, well, again, this is purpose-built. They want low, fast, maneuverable. I'm in the loader's position. So 3 guys right here. You have your assistant driver to my right.
Right.
And then the driver behind you.
Yep. But there's a nice big kind of giant old-fashioned bicycle seat here for the gunner to sit on. And actually, there's a lot more space. I mean, that really works, doesn't it?
There is, you know, so
you're not sort of wedging your head up against the side of the turret or anything.
You can actually manipulate your hydraulic traverse, your manual traverse, elevation with your 2 hands. You're not, you know, crammed in there like you experienced in the M10. You have the room to do your work.
Yeah. One of the things I always think is kind of really interesting is he who hits first generally comes out on top.
No doubt.
Really thick armor is obviously a huge advantage. Having a massive gun is a really good advantage, but so is speed and maneuverability.
Yeah, you can have a big gun and lots of armor all the live long day, but when you have a vehicle that's lighter than you, faster than you, that can outmaneuver you, you can't get that gun on target when the vehicle is moving, shooting, and scooting, and you don't know where they're coming out of.
Yeah.
The Hellcat, you know, her combat speed again was 55, 60 miles an hour.
Yeah, I mean, that's incredible. That's double the speed of anything else.
And then one of my favorite Hellcat battles where the combat speed was really shown was near the end of the war in 1945 in the Battle of the Crailsheim airfield in Germany. And basically, one of the same battalions that was in Bastogne was in this battle, and they ended up calling it the Second Battle of Bastogne. Because they took an airfield, a German airfield, and the Germans surrounded them with armor, with grenadiers, Panzer Grenadiers, Sturmgeschützes, and different assault guns. No tanks, but assault guns. And they were encircled. And the Hellcats were zipping around the airfield, fighting back all the German armor. And they were hauling butt. And they, again, defeated the German forces.
That's amazing. So I'm going to get down into the gunner seat. I mean, although it is incredibly cramped in here, this is at least fit for purpose.
Absolutely,
I mean, it is designed with
a little bit more crew comfort. You actually have a little bit more room. Most importantly, you have a seat.
Yeah, and so I've got this here. This is a hydraulic.
That's your hydraulic traverse. So you would use that. You would engage it to.
So I look through the periscope.
Yeah, you're looking through the periscope. Gun commander tells you, gunner traverse left. You use your hydraulic to get on target fast. Once you see your target through the periscope, gun commander is going to issue a range 600. Then you switch to your telescopic sight.
Yeah.
Then you switch to your manual control levers.
Okay, which is this.
Yep, you have your elevation to your right, and then your traverse to your left.
This one?
Yep, and then so
and you press that in, and it just, round it goes.
Yep. And so you would refine your shot with the manual.
And is the red button the fire?
That's the fun button.
That's the fun button on the pedal.
Yep. Now,
yeah, you see, I'm sitting here, and this is perfectly comfortable. I've got room to do everything that I need to do.
Yeah. Now, one of the most uncomfortable aspects, because there's got to be some discomfort with everything that you do in an armored vehicle, is the gun commander's barrel for the M2 HB 50 caliber machine gun is right above your head.
Right.
So it rattles your teeth and it hurts when it fires, and hurts worse for the driver if he's unbuttoned.
Yeah. So all in all, you have to say that the Hellcat is it's designed to do a specific job, and that job it does incredibly well. It's got a high velocity gun, it's incredibly fast, it's incredibly maneuverable, and inside it might be cramped, but the ergonomics of it all work really, really well. And the absolute killer aspect about this Hellcat is that as a proportion to the number that were built, it knocked out more enemy armored fighting vehicles than any other in the US Army in World War II.
Despite its late entry into the war.